What if I told you that Philippians 4:13 really doesn't mean what most people think it means? It's your boy the Mass Pilot here with Weapons and Worship, and I'm back with that pressure. I want to share something that hit me like a freight train. A lesson that the Lord convicted me about, and it might just be for you too.
Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
This is one of the most quoted verses in the Bible, right? But here's the thing. It's not about success. It's not about winning or achieving your goals. It's about something much deeper. And I'm talking about something supernatural.
Supernatural.
So let's take a closer look. Paul was writing this letter to the church in Philippi from prison, right? So right off the bat, this is a man who had nothing. No success, no comfort, no luxuries. And still he says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But the key to understanding this verse is context. Let's get straight into it. In Philippians 4:11, Paul says, I have learned to be content with whatever the circumstances. Contentment. That word content in the Greek is autarkis. It means self-sufficient. Content with whatever he had, whether it was much or little. And excuse me if I'm pronouncing these words, the Greek words, wrong. Hey, it is what it is.
The deeper meaning of abound.
Now, Paul doesn't stop there. He goes on to say, I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. So let's pause right there. The word abound is key here. In English, we hear it and think lots of stuff. Abundance, wealthy, plenty. But in the Greek, it's much deeper. The Greek word used here is perisuo. In this context, it doesn't just mean having more. It's about making the little you have enough. No matter how little, it's enough. And you even have enough to share. I'll let that sink in for a second. Paul wasn't talking about just having a lot. He's talking about contentment, the ability to adjust your lifestyle, to find sufficiency in whatever you have, even when it's very little. And I'll be honest, this really convicted me because I've often thought about the blessings in my life, the family, the home, the things that we have, and yet I still find myself desiring more. A nicer car, a bigger house, more possessions, yada yada yada, whoop de whoop. Now I know I'm not in this alone. We often tend to increase our desires as we receive more. And there's a word for that too. Pleonectus, which refers to a covetous person, someone who constantly craves more.
Now how often do we live like this, right?
Lord, I want more. I want bigger. I want better. But here's the flip side. Paul's heart is, Lord, out of my lack, teach me to need less, so that the little I do have will be more than enough, that I may have an abundance to share. Now, that's a radical shift, isn't it? That's a radical shift, man. Here's the mind-blowing part of this all. Paul wrote this letter from prison. Locked up. He had nothing and still said, I abound. This was not normal. This wasn't natural. This was supernatural. Paul had figured out how to live in the strength of Christ, content not because of his circumstances, but because of Christ's strength in him. That boy was locked up. They would not let him out. Let's look at Philippians 4:12 and 13 with fresh eyes. Paul wasn't just talking about achieving your personal goals or overcoming every challenge in your way. No, he was saying, I can endure hardship. I can deny myself because Christ gives me the strength to do it. It's about denying our natural selfish desires and living differently. And Paul wasn't just enduring, he was thriving in the contentment because Christ gave him the strength to do so. And that's supernatural. So now, whenever I hear Philippians 4:13, I don't just think about achieving my goals or overcoming challenges. I think about denying myself, letting go of my selfish desires, and living a life of contentment and surrender, because it's Christ who gives me the strength to do just that. Now, I don't know about you, That really challenged me. Has this verse challenged you in the same way? Do you see it how it's about something deeper than what we often hear? Or do you just hear for what you think it is? By all means, you can drop your comments and thoughts down below, and we can talk about it. Thank you for watching. If this message encouraged you, you can hit the like button. You don't have to. You can hit the dislike button. And if you want to share it with someone who might need it, by all means, go right ahead. But don't forget, you can always subscribe if you want more content like this.